So Valentine's Day, I used to call it Cupid Has Bad Aim Day. But now I call it Valentine's Day, and it's that celebration of love day. And as I was working on this week's skit, and I was thinking about the ancient Greece and ancient Romans, and how many things have spilled over from those cultures into this culture, into our lives, I began to really reopen a study I once had on the subject of love. I started to look at those 4 different types of love that the ancient Greeks talked about: storge, phileo, eros, and agape. And I thought, how confusing sometimes it is to have only one word for this thing that covers so much ground. We try to put different words to it, like to say, I love that, which we might say is storge, or maybe phileo. Or we could say, I love you. Those 3 little words kind of reserved for eros. And I would look at the highest vibration on the planet, in the universe of God, that God love that's inside all of us, that agape. And with that, we often will put words like true love or unconditional love. We think about that word, though, unconditional love. That to me is really powerful stuff. You know, we throw those words around sometimes. Unconditional love. I unconditionally love this or that or this or that. To me, this is one of the challenges of the human condition, is truly to embrace an unconditional love and to understand a God who is unconditional love. When we look at the different things in the skit, I'm going to borrow your skit. Sure. When we look at the storge kind of love, the pizza and laptop, a new pair of shoes, sunsets, flowers, cars, paintings, drawings, people, chocolate, all of these things, that's love. It's not to diminish that love. That's a type of love to be celebrated. If we have joy and love for all the things in our life experience and all the things that we come in contact with, we have that and we embrace that I am, and no matter what it is we're pointing at, we find love. That to me is the basis, or the beginnings, if you will, of agape, of the unconditional love, is to really enjoy, really love all of these different things in our life experience. There's some times, and we've all had it, where we're just so geeked about life that we actually step outside our front door and watch a sunrise or a sunset, or we drive to go see a really pretty one. Or we're just so full of gratitude and appreciation for this microphone, or for this chair, or for this, whatever it is in our lives. And that to me is that storge love. It's not to be diminished, it's to be, in my mind, celebrated. And I invite all of us to have more storge love in our lives on a daily basis. I'm going to the next of brothers and sisters and friends and coworkers, our cats, our dogs, our connections family, Florida, our country. That filial love, which is a deep and passionate yet non-romantic love. I love my dog more than I love my pizza, or my laptop, or my flowers. It has a greater importance to me that dog, Dozer, that little guy means more to me than all the stuff. And then going into eros, that romantic love that we are all entitled to have. But having it is like saying, I have a plant in a pot. I have it. How long I will have it, and what it will look like and how it will flourish depends on the amount of attention and attention that I give it. It's not a trophy that's hung on a wall. See that? I got me some eros right there. I bagged it, tagged it, and mounted it up on the wall. That's my eros right there. It's a living, breathing thing, this love, this eros love between people. As it's grown, as it's showed attention, as it's a part of us, a really important part of us. It grows. And then that agape love, that love of God, that unconditional love. And when we look at that, we use words like the love we have for our children. No matter how much we love our children, it's absolutely unconditional. And that's not to say we're not human, we don't get, really, we've got our pom-poms with these things, and we go, oh my gosh, are they doing that again on this side? But at the end of the day, it is absolutely unconditional because it is non-replaceable. That love is solid. That same love can go with a spouse. It can go with a eros relationship, can also have an agape component. Bless you. Or my parents, or myself, or my God. Now, when we look at these things of love, we can try to understand it from these 4 different types of love. We can try to understand it from a expression of that love. What do I do during my day? What do I think about? How do I feel about things? Is my love growing or is it shrinking? The importance of love, and this particular passage of Corinthians 13, I've read at every wedding I've ever performed, because it so eloquently speaks to this. If I speak in tongues of men and angels, but have not love, I am but a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. I'm just making noise. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and I have all faith that can move mountains, but I don't have love, I'm nothing. Now think about that passage for a second. If I had the gift of prophecy, absolute prophecy that I knew with 100% certainty what was going to happen, I could fathom all mysteries. Nothing was unknown to me. I had all knowledge. These are some big-time, powerful things. And if I had all faith that could literally move a mountain, but I didn't have love, wouldn't matter. I would be, according to the Bible, nothing. Even with all that, we look at the things that are important to us, the things that we strive for. Maybe it's a dollar amount, maybe it's a title, maybe it's a job, maybe it's a possession, maybe it's any of these things that we work so hard for. If we don't have love, none of it matters. It's that important. It's that important. If I give all that I possess to the poor and surrender my body unto the flames, but have not love, I gain nothing. We can give it all away. We can do every act of charity and kindness available. But if we don't have love, what's the point? Now this next part, I want you to really think about from each one of the 4, storge, right? Phileo, eros, and agape, from each one of these different perspectives, because this is the definition of love. Love is patient. Now we can go down that little list and say, I can be patient with my pizza. If I love my pizza, I can be patient with it, which means when it's in the oven, even if I didn't preheat it, and it's taken twice as long to cook as it needs to take, and I'm really hungry, but I love my pizza, I'm going to have to be patient with it. The same thing, maybe with a greater form of love, like my dog. I love Dozer. There's sometimes he requires a little more patience. I love the kids. Sometimes they take a little bit of patience too. I love my wife. I love each one of you. I love my parents. I love my God. If I'm not patient with any of those things, that love is going to get a little smaller. If I am patient with any of those things, it's going to get a little bigger. Love is kind. Same thing, running through the same gambit of all the different types of love. If we are kind to that which we love, it will grow. It does not envy. My dog doesn't have to be better than your dog for my dog to be good, for my dog to be loved. And your dog doesn't have to be better than my dog for your dog to be loved. Or cat, or turtle, or house, or spouse, or car, or truck, or car, or the cute pair of shoes. It's not comparable to anyone else's. You love it just because you love it. And it's not comparable. It just is. I love the recipe that's in here. Love is patient, love is kind, does not envy. The next, it does not boast. My dog doesn't have value because I can tell all these great things about my dog. Or my pizza, or my spouse, or my house, or my cars, or my jobs, or my anything else, or neither with yours. It's important because it's important. You love it because you love it. And that's enough. It's not comparable. Every single one is apples and oranges and grapefruit and not even all fruits. It could be pigs and chickens and flowers and trees and sunsets. Every one is unique, and I love this. It is not proud. It is not rude. It's easy when we think about some of these words like, it is not rude, or the next, it is not self-seeking, or the next, it is not easily angered. We can think about those things on Valentine's Day with an eros kind of love. What about a storge kind of love? Or a filial kind of love? What about, let's say with my dog, that I'm not rude, or self-seeking, or easily angered? Which kind of goes back to the patient and kind at the beginning. But this is, I believe, a recipe for the human condition, a recipe for the spiritual condition, a recipe for love. We all want love in our lives. And then the first, in Corinthians 1, it talks about how important love is. Now the next one is talking about if you want more of it, here's a recipe to get it. In every area of your life. And now I'll just read through it again. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. Now pay attention to this one. This one's a tough one for me sometimes. It does not keep a record of wrongs. It does not rejoice in evil. It does not delight in evil, but it rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Now I want you to think about this for just a second. You know God. You know your version of God. You know the God that you connect with. You know the God that I connect with. It's the same stuff, we just see from different angles. But if God is love, then let's just change the word love to God in here for a second. God is patient. God is kind. God does not envy. God does not boast. God is not proud. God is not rude. God is not self-seeking. God is not easily angered. God keeps no record of wrongs. God does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. God always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. The reason that we come here, the reason that we strengthen our connection with God is not one of fear-based. It's not one of judgment. Because it says in that definition of love, and it says God is love, that there is no record of wrongs. God inspires that piece of God inside of each of us to emulate what God is. They say the sincerest form of flattery is imitation. I try to emulate my version of God. I invite you to emulate your version of God. That love is the most important thing on this planet, and without it, nothing else means anything. And here, right in 1 Corinthians is a recipe to have more of it. And going back to our ancient Greek and Roman brothers and sisters, to look at that from the perspective of storge, filio, eros and agape, allows us to see it in a way that's more applicable to us. Because oftentimes during the season of Valentine's Day, or Cupid has bad aim day, depending on your perspective, we can put so much focus on just one type of love, on just the eros type of love, but we are so much more than that. That is a piece of our puzzle. That puzzle that connects us all. That puzzle which we each have a unique piece that weaves itself into the tapestry of creation. The tapestry of a God that is all love. As I mentioned, every wedding I've ever performed, I've read that verse and asked for it to really sink home. When Mary and I wrote our own wedding ceremony, we spent a lot of time on that one. But when we look at a different type of love, the agape love, or the eros, or the phileo, or the storge, when we look at our dog, when somebody cuts us off in traffic, when things don't go the way that we thought they should go, we give that which we want to receive. And according to 1 Corinthians, part of that, to let it grow, is to keep no records of wrongs. So if there's something weighing heavy on your heart, do you feel that you have kept a record of your own wrong, or that God's kept a record of it for you? I invite you just to close your eyes. Picture that, whatever those things are, like on a sheet of paper. And just like David Copperfield, a hand going over it and wiping it clean. There is no record of wrongs. And as we give that which we want to receive, and we feel like we have been weighed down by record of wrongs that we've kept from other folks, I invite you to see that piece of paper and to use your own hand and to wipe it clean, to let it free. To see the pure and unconditional love that is an aspect of your soul. Connecting with the pure and unconditional love that is an aspect of their soul. As we do these things, as we follow this recipe for love, it grows in our life. And as love grows in your life, one, all things is possible, and two, you've got a life that's worth living. We're in it together. We can all do it. I invite you right now just to look around the room and mentally find at least 10 things, or people, or objects, or energies, or anything you want that you love. 10 things.
That's easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, 20 things. 40 things. 100 things. Imagine if you woke up each day saying, my job today, my goal today is to find 10 things that I love. And when that's no longer a challenge, just say 15. When that's no longer a challenge, just say 20. I can kind of get the picture where that's going. How different would love be? How different would life be if we took the judgment aside?
So then if God never sleeps, he don't wake up, he just loves everything anyway.
Yep. Well, God's in all things all the time. They say that, back in the day, that Britain used to have little colonies everywhere. They said that the sun never set on the British Isles, because no matter where you were on the planet, the sun was shining on a part of Britain somewhere. With that, as God is in all things, God's always awake. There's a part that's always awake, that's always loving.
The world would be in trouble if he said, I'm just going to love 10 things today.
Well, we start with what we can do. We start with what's mine to do today. And with God's help, with each other's help, we can all do it. And we can come back next week even more loving, with even more love, and even more lovable than we were today, or we were last week or the week before, and each week that can continue to grow and to build. And I'm big. And there's, yeah, go God.